Welcome back again to Bankruptcy with Ben. We have an interesting update on the state of the bankruptcy world. And this is an article that comes to us via a news site I've actually not come across before, but has some interesting updates. And that is Straight Arrow News by Craig Negrelli is the author. And it says that U.S. corporate bankruptcies have hit the highest level since the Great Recession. That seems to be surprising to many. We've already gone through COVID. Many people thought we were out already at the other end of COVID. Why now? What has happened now that bankruptcy levels are so high? A new report shows U.S. corporations filing for bankruptcy has hit a new high in the first quarter of 2025. So far, 188 companies have filed for bankruptcy. In quarter one of 2024, 139 companies filed for bankruptcy. And it says the last time levels were this high was 2010, following the Great Recession when 254 companies filed for bankruptcy in quarter one. So why are bankruptcy levels so high? The article does not tell us. It just gives us some kind of interesting background, but leaves us to speculate. I'll offer a few possibilities, but let's just hit some of the highlights from this article. It says U.S. corporate bankruptcies have hit a 14-year high in 2024. Now, 14-year high is not that crazy. They're making it sound like a lot. 14 years, things are cyclical. It's a lot, but it's not necessarily indicative of historic highs. But the article continues that the trend seems to be continuing. According to the S&P Global Market Intelligence Report, corporate bankruptcies have hit their highest level since 2010. Now, keep in mind, the Great Recession started in 2008. The official end of the Great Recession is somewhat of a debate, but 2010, we were already 2 years into the Great Recession. So it wasn't necessarily an immediate shock when you had the Great Recession. It was kind of as things went along and companies just were not able to survive. But again, here we are from the beginning of January to the end of March. 188 companies filed for bankruptcy, up significantly from 139 in 2024. Still, though, way down from the 254 that filed in Q1 in the wake of the Great Recession. Now, the total in 2024 was 694. And it says that was the highest in more than a decade, but far below one of that 1,836 that filed during 2009. Now, again, though, just look at the dates here. 1,836 filed during 2009, and they're saying this is the highest level since 2010. That means that over the remaining 3 quarters of 2009, there was a huge surge in filing, and in the first quarter of 2009, it wasn't necessarily such a huge amount, and 2010 was probably kind of already tapering off, even though it was so high. One of the notable ones that have filed, Forever 21 and Joanne, which we've covered, 23andMe, which is one we're going to cover in an upcoming video, have also started filing for bankruptcy. So, what does this all mean? Why are there so many companies filing? I want to offer a few just theories. I don't know yet, but just some kind of theories. The first one a lot of companies are going to go to is the tariffs. I personally don't find that argument so compelling. The tariffs are certainly causing a lot of uncertainty in the markets. And now whether you're pro-tariffs, against the tariffs, it's a relatively new event that has happened, and the full weight of the tariffs or an aftershock of the tariffs. It's going to take time for that to really, work its way through companies and to see what the actual long-term impacts are. If a company has filed for bankruptcy right now and is blaming the new tariffs, that's more indicative of the tariffs maybe kind of the last thing that puts them over the top, but not as the fundamental underlying cause. So I don't find tariffs a compelling argument yet. It could be down the line, maybe, but right now I don't see that as a compelling reason. Another theory is inflation. During the Biden presidency, inflation rates were way up. It remains to be seen whether the Trump administration will be able to get them down. But another theory, which may hold some weight, is this is kind of the after effects of the inflation that we saw over the last several years. The final theory is COVID. COVID was something unprecedented in scope. In some ways, the impacts of it, I think, are perhaps even more far ranging than the Great Recession. It was a forcible shutdown of a global economy, and people are still, even 5 years later, feeling the aftershocks of it. Some companies have never fully recovered. They've taken measures to try to recover, but in many cases, things have never gone back to the same they were before. One example is commercial office space all around the country. Well, many companies have made a big push for everyone to go back into the office. The levels are still not the same as they were pre-COVID. So you're seeing a huge decline in commercial retail space, which is hurting a lot of commercial landlords. So I think really the best way is as we go through each one of these, we're going to cover them each one. We're going to see what the companies are saying is the reason for the bankruptcy. Another reason is it may all just be coincidental. There might not be any great underlying factor. Economies are cyclical, markets are cyclical, things go up, things go down. There's different, presidential administrations cause fear, whether that fear is warranted or unwarranted, or just general anxiety. People aren't sure of what the new policies are going to be. So it may not be one thing. As we get into each one, we'll see what the companies state. But, keep in mind, this is a major thing going on. So stay tuned. We'll cover lots more. Just wanted to provide that quick update. That's all I got for now. And we'll see everybody on the next one.